in the book, you mention, and we could go into like the different, like, opening a set, what that means, obviously stacking material, having cool stories, etc. Could we talk about what the attraction triggers are? If I'm not mistaken, I believe there were 7.
Hi, bro.
Well, I teach a top 5.
Okay.
I'm sure there are many. There are maybe 30 of them.
Yeah.
We can go into, minutia, but the top 5 to me are: number 1 is pre-selection.
Bam. Okay.
You can save the step of having to get to know, or rather, a woman can save the step of having to get to know you if she sees that you are attractive to other women.
I'm gonna pause it here, and I'm gonna pause it every now and then. If you guys want to watch it, I'll send you guys the link because I know you guys hate it when I pause. But this is why humans are social creature, and desire is an imitative thing. People imitate other people, what other people want, right? Because it makes them feel included, but also because it's a shortcut, right? And so a woman will say, if she likes you, it means that she filtered you. Women are better at judging character. Women are better at judging creepiness. And so they assume that if this girl likes you, then that means you're not crazy enough. So that means maybe you're a good option. Pretty much, it's like being recommended for a job, right? An employer will take you more seriously if someone that works in the company vouched for you, as opposed to you applying randomly, right? In fact, other people vouching for you matters more than some things in your resume. It matters more than where you worked at previously, because other people vouching for you will lead you to get a better job than having good experience. It's called nepotism, right? And so women operate in that sense, that they need to see other women's recommendation of you, and that the way they do that is through how they react to you, how you behave also, right? Because positive feedback causes you to behave in a calm way, right? But also literally the physical environment, other women looking at you. Let's continue. I'm not going to pause it for too long because
If they see you with women, you have what we call pre-selection. And that is, in my opinion, 80% of attraction.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there are additional attraction switches. There's leader of men, protector of loved ones, having a willingness to emote, and showing that you're a successful risk taker. Those are the top 5 in my book, literally.
Guys in the chat, get your pens and papers out because we're going to be talking about a bunch of stuff like this. So I'm going to write, so risk taker, leader of men, protector.
Protector of loved ones.
Uh-huh.
If she becomes a valued member of your social circle, she too will be protected by you and your social circle. That's quite powerful. Mm-hmm. Becoming friends with Will Smith and having his resources available widens and improves your chances of survival, and that's important in life.
Yep.
So risk taker,
that's attraction.
Protector, pre-selection, leader of men, and then what was the last one again?
A willingness to emote. Successful risk taker is the last one.
Willingness to emote. Can you explain what willingness
to emote is? To show a rich range of emotion.
Okay.
Not to just monotone it and be too.
This is honestly because he doesn't explain as much, but it's like when you're gaming a woman and your friends distract you, right? Let's say your friends say, "Hey, Alexis," and I'm like, "Dude, what the fuck?" Like you act like oh, it doesn't bother me, or somebody steps on your toe and you're like, "Oh, no worry, man, that didn't hurt." Anyways, keep talking, girl. That looks creepy. And a willingness to emote is somebody steps on your toe and you're like, "Oh, fuck, damn, that hurt." And she sees that. That's actually a natural, normal reaction. Or somebody spills a drink on you, you're like, "Oh, fuck, what the fuck, man?" A woman sees that and she's like, "Oh, shit, he's normal." Reason being is because most guys, when they're trying to hit on women, they don't do that shit. They try to show the perfect face, the perfect creepy face, and women can sense that. Guys can't, but women know what's a normal person.
Too cool for school, or
charisma.
Take your smile, and it never goes away. So they can't trust your expressions.
Gotcha.
You want to show a rich range of expression and emotion in your storytelling. It's much more captivating.
Now, real fast. So you mentioned, being a risk taker, protector of loved ones, pre-selection, leader of men, willingness to emote, which, you can say that's like charisma, charm, being animated, being someone that's able to convey a story in an interesting manner. Now, when you, in your book, you talk about approaching sets, which a set is like, multiple women for the audience that might be wondering. Multiple women, maybe there's even some guys in there. And what you're doing is you're coming in, introducing yourself, and you're telling stories that demonstrate these 5 attraction triggers that you just mentioned. And you're kind of like humble bragging about it, and people can come to that logical conclusion that you exhibit these traits through the story. But then there were other things you mentioned as well, like pulling them to another venue. Can you kind of go through that process real quick, as like from opening a set all the way to closing the deal?
Oh, if you'd like, that's a set of phases
Mm-hmm.
that fill the timeline of your pickup.
Mm-hmm.
Let's zoom in. Let's discuss the phases. Before we get to the 9 linear phases in a successful courtship, let's talk about the 3 main stages.
Okay.
You see, there's a beginning, middle, and ending phase to each of the 3 stages. That's why there are 9. Otherwise, there's only 3 main stages. And I think we can all agree that the stages have to happen in order.
Mm-hmm.
First, the first stage is attraction.
It's insane how many people talk shit about this guy because he was helping men. And I understand it looks nerdy, but he's breaking down a very nebulous and murky thing like attraction to nerdy guys. And it's kind of, when you really think about it, it's kind of brilliant that he put it into a system like this.
Have to have traction before the second stage, which is comfort. Building comfort with someone with no attraction leads to let's just be friends.
Yep.
So we want attraction first. But now you can't jump over comfort and compromise your comfort and go straight to the third phase, or stage rather, which is seduction.
This is why guys with small dick, they do so well with women. Because not they get a lot of women, but that when you have a small dick, you have to go slow. You have no other choice. You got to go slow. So when you go slow with a woman and you got a small dick, eventually the woman falls in love with you so much that she don't care that you have a small dick. In fact, she's stuck with it, right?
You must go in order: attraction, then comfort, then seduction. The idea behind this is scientific in nature. It's backwards rationalized from that which worked. It's logical to trigger attraction first, mutual attraction, so you can demonstrate that you're attracted to her as well, and then move on to comfort, building a growing comfort, familiarity, intimacy.
And this is where your libido gets in your way, because when you have a strong libido, this is very difficult. The game that we as men have to play requires you to be borderline gay. I mean, it requires you to almost be a fucking eunuch, because the less of a sex drive you have for a woman, I swear to God, the more of the right things you'll do. The problem is that we're just so desperate and we need so much sex that when we meet a woman, we tremble. There's so much sexual tension. And for a woman, nothing is more insulting than a man who can control himself in front of her.
At the very least, connection, which is really the core of comfort, is building connection. Removal of lack of discomfort, removing discomfort. That's what comfort's about. And the interesting thing is, if you have attraction and comfort, quite likely by then she'll seduce you. Women are better.
That's what I talk about with small dick guys. And again, you guys should give it a try. And that's literally prolong the kissing and prolong the sex. Women, I've never seen women turn more aggressive than that. They become like strippers and you are at a strip club. They literally like start to, they don't even ask you questions like that. Well, like they'll talk to their friends about you. Like, is he gay? Look at his photo. They'll do that shit. But in that moment, they're becoming more obsessed. And then it becomes a challenge to them. And it's a completely different side of women that most men never see.
Seducers than men, generally, at least better than me. So I like mutual seduction, or I would like to be seduced. You have attraction and comfort, you'll get to seduction. Now, what we've done, or what I've done, is I've taken these 3 main stages, which you cannot all do at once. You can't open in seduction, or you could try.
Unless you're
But if you
into
get a no,
prostitutes.
how many no's do you have to get until you start learning that it's actually almost offensive to open in seduction?
Mhm.
So let's now zoom into the first three phases, which is the beginning, middle, and ending of the attraction stage.
Mhm.
The first is A1, the second is A2, the third is A3. I've just named them so we can talk about them. So we can then, once we learn the objectives of each of these phases, we can take material, these are the gambits, the words we say, the material we use to convey our personality, and we bolt them into the proper phases. So A1, the objective is simply to open, to initiate a conversation with a group of people you haven't met before. Now, 2/3 of all approach scenarios are the three set, are a group of three people, guys.
Something that when I look at it now, I'm young, I'm older. It's kind of crazy that he literally like broke this thing down into a science for nerds. It's kind of insane, to be honest with you. And now that I look at it, yeah, a lot of guys were shamed. I used to get made fun of for studying this, and I used to say, "Yo, fuck you, man. This makes total sense." And for a while, I was like, you know what? Maybe I'm crazy, but nah, man. This is some real shit right here, bro. This guy was ahead of his time. Yeah, this is crazy.
For girls, that's a mixed set. That counts as a three set. So you're going to have to work groups. So focus instead of trying to pick up a girl all by her onesie, and you never meet her friends, she never meets your friends,
That's
which is
suspect.
quite, you know,
Suspect.
odd. It feels uncomfortable, almost damn near creepy.
Mhm.
Meeting her friends, and then her friends meeting your friends, and you're getting to know each other that way. That's much more.
Smoother.
It gives more
Authentic.
potential to a love story, in my opinion.
Gotcha.
Following A1, opening the set using the material of openers, and I've written a book. Hey guys,
We'll finish watching this later on, but yeah, that's why always focus on pre-selection. Always focus on learning how to convey a relaxed, detached attitude because those are the consequences of pre-selection. When a lot of women want you, you just have this relaxed aura about you, and women know that. They evolutionarily instinctively understand that. Guys don't. That's why to you guys it may not be important, but to most women it is very important. Anyways, let me know what you guys think. If you're in New York City, sign up. We're having a meditation meetup next week. And that helps you with not being creepy. And yeah, I'll see you guys later. Course called Dark Game or The Complete Man, where I teach you guys these strategies, but not to attract women at a club, but more so how to do it in daily life, how to build a social life, how to make more friends, and how to attract women without looking creepy and needy. I teach you guys how to do it in the workplace without getting fired, and just the general way of how to be more attractive to women in a natural way without going out of your way. I'm not promising you quick results. I'm promising you long-term results. That's my promise for you. Okay. And you can watch some free clips by clicking on the description down below. And there you can test it out. And if you don't like it, there's a 30-day money back guarantee. Okay. Take care.